Got it. Okay. So, let's go ahead and pick up where we left off last week. Nanny, you've went ahead and explained to everybody some of the main things that went on during the fight. We understood that Oma's character went through quite a bit of distress in the audience as she saw these Rougarous perusing the outside of the arena with those large Dragora hounds and walking them along, and she couldn't quite figure out why they were allowed in the city, and she was trying to hide herself the best she could. In the force field that was held up during that battle, had a tough time. There was a couple of times when she didn't make her saving throws and weakened it. She got some dirty looks from some of the other clerics from town that have signed up to be able to hold this force field up, but none have confronted you, Alex, as of yet. Okay. You guys all saw what went down at the end of the last fight, that Dahan felt that he should have been awarded a prize from the last battle to fix his Behemoth mantle that he wears. But with the gentle nudge of the court wizard Landorus and Valimar, the right hand of the king, he decided it would be okay as long as it was going to somebody that he knew, which was Gwyneth, which is the owner of the Heart of the Beast Salvage and Supply here in the city of New Gemdar. And you know that things are going to her. They're going to a good place, and Danny decided not to cause a whole ruckus in the middle of this. With the help of Ignatius's character Ron, talking him down a bit and flattering him and getting his mind off of things, which was really interesting. So now that fight is over with, and the creature, the large defeated Behemoth, or what was left, I'm trying to remember, guys. I'm trying to remember, because I remember that they drug it off and they were taking it into the underneath of the arena, and I remember the chain. You guys remember that? The chain that came through the portal that was hooked up to its leg, and when the portal closed, the chain was cut in half and left laying out there for everybody to see. Okay, but for some reason in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I may have accidentally said something about the creature turning to dust or some shit like that. Did I accidentally do that or not?
No.
I'm confusing it for another fight. I didn't want to commit a big no-no. It's like, what do you mean? I can't collect anything off this. You said turn to dust, you idiot. So I just want to make sure we are clear on that. Your character, Danny, Bastille, the elven rogue / warlock, the celestial warlock with his celestial patron, which is very interesting, had come up with the idea, not for the battles that are happening, but in the future, if you were to face large giants, the giants from the White Seas to the north, that have these large, what they're calling summoner's staves. Okay, you were thinking about trying to somehow alter the runes on these through magic, so that if they are using these staffs in combat and they are opening up these portals, these giant shaman-like creature or like beings that are summoning these behemoths to fight at their side, you're thinking if you can alter the script on these stabs, these runes that light up when the thing is activated, you can stop them from opening up the portal. Okay. Tamara, the human paladin, female beside you, thinks it's not a bad idea, not necessary for what we're trying to accomplish here, which is the king wants to see people battle these things to learn in ways to take them down. So when the war does happen, we're learning about the creatures, you know, and Ignatius is all about this. He's writing down all kinds of notes. He's read up on them in Vander's shop and shared that with you guys before the battle. but she doesn't have a wealth of knowledge in magic. She's more of a, you know, how paladins are, 5th level's it, and she's not even there yet. She can only cast 3rd level magic. Okay? So you might want to take this to someone else later, but for this exercise, that would be contradictive as to what we're trying to do. Okay? Especially since there's only one staff. So if we were to destroy that, there's the possibility that that would be the end of being able to summon these creatures at our command. So that was the conversation that you and Tamara had had. Okay? Was there any other business, Bastille, that you need to take care of before I go further into the announcements here?
Not unless he could get Valimar by himself, but I'd say Valamar's pretty busy with the stuff he's got going on.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a moment for that. Ron, as Dahon seems to lumber off and goes to celebrate with the other people that he won the last battle in, you see him and Tamardin, the red-haired sentinel-looking dwarf with the huge warhammer, seem to be having an in-depth conversation between themselves, talking about the battle. You see them doing animated things with their arms, as if they're talking candidly about what had just happened and finding some fellowship between themselves. Jadite's character, played by Scott, seems to be standing there looking into the crowd, searching out for someone. It's odd how calm he seemed all throughout this. And I will say to you, Ignatius, that you're a bit nervous, but you have a lot of experience in life in general under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
But to see Jadite be as calm as he was, act so nonchalantly, which he intentionally did, we found out at the end of the last campaign, is somewhat impressive. And as you would see him standing there, staring, without just going up and celebrating with everyone else, it may draw your attention. Also, you have the option of addressing Oma. Oma seems, which is played by Alex. Oma, the small Native American Indian-looking cleric girl, seems to be coming down to congratulate Dahon, because the two are very close, on his winnings just now, and it seems as if this illusion that she had is still up. She has reconjured the illusion and seems to still be looking not as herself. Alex, would you refresh my memory, please? It's a lot to remember. We pretty much figured that when you did this spell, that it was going to be able to last you the whole night through, as long as you were able to A, keep concentration on it, okay, and B, the fights didn't go on till like 3 or 4 a.m.
Right.
Okay. So I remember during the fight, you were not able to focus on the force field so well, a couple different instances, but I don't think you ever dropped your disguise, did you?
No, I don't think so.
It was a potion disguise.
It's
Right.
a potion. That's correct. Okay, he was able to give it to her. Awesome. Okay. So with that, I remember there was some debate as to who knew who she really was and who didn't amongst us characters. So for role-playing purposes, when you drank the potion and altered your form so these Rougarou warriors wouldn't recognize you, do you remember who all knows for sure who you are and who doesn't?
I think just
I'm sorry, Danny, go ahead.
I think just Ignatius, because they were having fun with it, playing the rest of us. None of the rest of us caught on.
Okay, so that's my point. So Ignatius, you know who she is.
Right.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure I wasn't screwing up, okay? So from there, that's what we have going on. So Ron, you can choose your own path for a moment, or you can go speak with Oma, or you could talk to Jadite, which seems to be looking out into the crowd. You also have the option of Valdera, this tortured soul of a woman that seems to be holding her sword and staring out into the arena, far off into the doors where the beast should be summoned to soon from the staff, and seems to be intent in not really talking to anyone else. She looks like she might need someone to talk to. Then again, maybe it's a bad idea. You're not quite sure, but she's very distant. You know, she's been through a lot. What would you like to do?
I think to start with, I would, you said Oma is near me?
Yeah, she would actually, and I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a head start here, Alex. Once the first fight was done, you would want to be coming down to where Dahan was and things of that nature and asking him how he was. You saw him take some beating. You are a cleric, of course, and things of that nature, and you do have a relationship. You feel obligated to protect him to a degree. You also are one of the very few that can get through his stubborn head. And you saw him start quite a bit of shit down there in the ring after the fight the other day, and you weren't able to just go straight down there and aid him in that because you had a responsibility.
Right.
Okay. So with that little push forward, and I won't do that very often, I apologize. She is coming down your way, Ron, to talk to Dahan, which is by you as well. What would you, Ron, or Ignatius like to do?
Okay, I guess, do I know any of her struggles from keeping the force field up or anything like that? Or was that not noticeable to the crowd?
Roll perception check. We'll rewind a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, that was not a very good roll, but luckily I've got some stuff here going on, so.
He's going to make honey out of mud here in a minute. I have a feeling.
I'm working, huh?
This is a dramatic pause.
Alrighty, so once a day I can add a D4 to my,
Okay.
because I have observant.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, and I got a 4. So with that, plus my perception, I've got a 15.
Okay, 15's enough. There were 2 different instances throughout the battle where you heard the chanting of fellow clerics and different magic casters that you saw were in these certain small structures lined throughout about halfway up through the Coliseum or arena, almost like little school bus stops or something like that, made out of stone, real elegantly carved. And they were holding this force field up, and you heard their chanting get louder and get out of sync, almost like a band that's performing a song, but the guitar player got too drunk and missed a note. And you were able to discern that from your experience in doing such things. And as you looked around, you put it together. You saw the Rougarou walking along with the dogs. You know what happened in the town square the other day when she pretty much cowered back behind Dahan when one of these came out and sniffed around, said maybe he had a smell of something familiar. You know, and you saw that she was visibly shaken and that she did twice fail to do her part to keep the force field up. Okay, there you go.
Then I would approach her and, kind of put my hand on her shoulder and ask her, are you all right?
Go ahead, Alex, respond freely.
I am now. How are you doing? What did you think of the fight?
It was very exciting. I've never participated in battle before. I'm looking forward to this being my first time.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Nice. Okay. With that, Alex, you see Dahan, and Dahan seems to be with his arm around Tamardin. They're talking about the battle. Is there anything you would like to say to Dahan at this time? And I don't mean to put you on the spot. It's just I'm giving you guys an opportunity to go through some things here if you'd like to. Relationship building, anything you may have been thinking of, anything at all. If there is something, there is. If there's not, that's perfectly fine too.
I want to ask what he was doing, trying to start a fight in the middle of, after the fight was over.
Yeah, Danny, what the hell were you trying to do? Why don't you answer the young lady?
Dahan would look over, and you, if I remember, you appear right now as somebody about 6 foot tall and very skinny.
Yeah.
A male. He would just look at you and then take a step forward and tower over the top of you.
And now Alex realizes that Danny can't tell who she really is.
Oh no.
I'm just curious to see what you say. Go ahead. This is fun for me.
No, wait.
He's swelling up on you. He is swelling up on you. Our hands go up, Danny. Do you say anything to maybe say something only you and he would know about any of the stories we've talked about? Something to make him not want to turn you into a meat sock.
Remember the night, gosh. Remember who was having the nightmares? That's me.
Danny, roll a perception check with. Do I want to give it disadvantage? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Alex, roll me a persuasion check.
All right.
I think that's the way to do this properly, Ron. Ron, and for people watching the video, Ron's always like, if Ron shakes his head, yeah, then I know it's okay. If Ron's going like this and laughing too much, I know to scroll left and keep going. So yeah, okay.
Natural 20.
Danny, this tall, skinny lad that looks, who did we say you look like? It was really funny.
It was Wedge.
I know it was Wedge from earlier, but wasn't there an actor or somebody that Wedge looked like that we said? I can't remember, but I thought it was silly as shit. Because we had Biggs and Wedge, the typical Final Fantasy goober pair. He's this tall, skinny, unkept person. And it looks at you with this uniquely feminine voice, very convincing. It's like, remember the nightmares? It's me.
Hold on. Actually, he would recognize Wedge because he's from the ship.
Okay, so roll a.
Can we step back? Can we step back for a second? I forgot she was Wedge, so he would be like, last I recall, you were supposed to be escorting Oma.
Okay, so as you say that, let's go ahead and say she's tried to explain to you with a natural 20 who she truly is. I want you to roll a perception check with advantage because of how well that she's done in trying to show you her truth.
All right. Natural 18 plus his bonuses, but I think 18 probably would get it.
Okay, you guys get it. As weird as it is, you guys get it. And you're looking at a tall, skinny, goofy male version of Oma. What do?
It was my prize.
She thinks on it for a long moment, Danny. Not sure if she's drinking the Kool-Aid or not. Not quite sure if she is on board with what you're saying. Alex, is there anything else you want to ask him about the fight? Possibly ask him what he's doing next. Even if there was something as far as a past thing or a future thing that you wanted to mention to him, is there anything of that nature at all for you right now?
I want to know if he was injured at all.
Okay.
if he needed healing.
I think I'm good. The druid took good care of us.
As you
Everything
both
I got superficial.
correct. As you mentioned the druid, you both seem to glance over and look at him as he is just staring off into the audience with a very still, kind of emotionless look across his face, just kind of looking around the arena. Doesn't seem lost, but just searching for something and not moving. Okay. You both see that he's doing this. Danny, is there anything else you'd like to add to the conversation?
Say, I guess this is what happens when one lives long enough to not care whether they live or die.
Interesting. Ron, anything to say about that? Any thoughts on that?
I just leg spiked. What Danny just say?
He said that that's what, maybe this is what happens when one lives long enough that they don't care whether they live or die. Because he knows Jediah is a good bit older.
And that's why I asked you maybe what you thought about that, because you're probably the oldest one of all these people.
I look at him and I say, well, you can either get bored or you can constantly look and learn new things. It all depends on your outlook.
All depends on your opera. Well put, sir. With that, Tamardin comes up to you, Danny, and is pretty much ushering you off. So let's go talk about some of the things just happened. And Tamardin says, maybe you could show me where I could get one of those tattoos like that or something. And he's impressed by some of the things that he saw you doing in the fight and would want to have a conversation, because that's different than any kind of dwarven tattoos or runes he's ever seen. He's very interested in that and what it brought out in you in the battle. New shit to him. With that, those two, if you want to have a conversation with yourself, you're more than welcome to. But we'll say that those two are talking about that over some drinks and things on off to the side for now. Jediah comes down and looks to Ron's character and looks to Oma's very kind of a blank expression with a small kind of smile on his face. At this point, he's giving a small grin as if he's pleased with what happened just now, almost like some kind of royalty that is showing you a little bit of emotion to humor you. Okay? And he would say, well, I believe that went well. He looks over to you and he goes, he would try to give you some factual information to things. He goes, when I was helping them fight the creature, I realized that it was not very intelligent, Ignatius. You may want to use that to your advantage. Also, it probably wouldn't hurt to, and he looks over to the other people, so not exactly a snotty look on his face, but kind of like this kind of a judging look. He pretty much tells you it might be better to let the other ones stand up front while you try to keep things held together in the back. It's not arrogant, but it's just how emotionless his character is about, as if this is a nonchalant, no big deal to him kind of thing.
It's matter of fact.
Yes, very much so. Okay. Do you have any reply for Jediah?
I would very earnestly just say, thank you for the advice. For my first battle, I think that would be very wise.
He, as he's walking by you, he stops as if he's heard something. And you hear him utter a couple words in a ancient Sylvan type language, something that you've maybe read about a little bit, but you don't quite know quite enough about. Roll me a history check real quick, please, Ron. If I'm not mistaken, you're good at these.
Yes, 23.
Fuck yeah, you are. Okay. This is an ancient Fey language that he seems to be speaking. And as he does, you hear with your keen hearing that you do have, that there is something whispering light words back to him. And as this happens, he says to you, he kicks his head like this and nods over towards you, and a small glowing light comes out from one of his sleeves and swirls around and talks to him for a minute. And he says words to it. He's like, yes, you can. Of course you can. And they say some words to each other in a muffled voice. And he kicks his head back over there. And the thing flies around and gets up close to one of your big eyes and looks at you. And it is a very small, tiny, diminutive fae. Almost looks like some kind of druid. Almost not a pixie, not exactly winged, but very small fade. It's just like Tinkerbell kind of shit from Peter Pan, okay? And it kind of flies around and goes zip and zips away, and you don't see where it went. Scott's character says to you, this Fey being will protect you and let me know if you're in any kind of danger. Because I have someone I need to seek out, and I won't be attending the second fight, but if this group consists of the same people that I've seen defend us before, they should have no problem with the creature, as long as they have you to fall back on. He says, but I must go. I'm going to seek out Tharu and see if he actually was witness to this fight. And he looks at you and he gives you a nod. He says, good fortune. Okay.
I look at him and I would say, spare no feather for the fallen, and kind of nod at him as he walks off.
Well played. I love that saying. That just happened. I love that shit. Okay, he nods to you and walks off into the crowd, and we will say Scott's character is off finding Tharu now. So with that, music starts up again. You hear people starting to rush. You hear, here it goes. Let's start it back up. And people are saying all these different things. They're chanting different names. You hear people shouting the name Tharu. Or not, I'm sorry, not Tharu. What was the dwarf's name again? I'm sorry. Tamardin. You hear people shouting the name Tamardin. And you actually see people stomping in the audience. And they all have their arms up like their large horns like this, Dahon. And it's almost like when people do the We Will Rock You by Queen, how everybody in the bleachers is always doing the boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap. Okay? They're doing a stomping kind of thing, but they're doing it because of the Behemoth form that you took during that last fight. It would be quite flattering. People are really paying attention to what goes on here. Okay? With that, a burst of excitement would begin to fill Bastille. And Bastille, as you look over, you see Valdera just standing there with her sword still in the sheath, with her arms in the large stone railing that seems to go around the very last boundary between being an outsider and being in the arena, up against a giant behemoth that's getting ready to be summoned for us. She's not doing what she normally does. She's not being foolhardy. She's not trying to brag herself up. Valdera is very good at putting courage into people. She is a war-spirited, battle-hardened person that will lead you on. She seems focused and much more relaxed, and that bothers you to an extent.
Bast would walk up, and he'll actually put his arm up over her shoulder, not like in a flirty way, but in a friendly way, which he has to reach up for because he's a little bit shorter than her. And he says, I hope you find a little bit of peace in this. But if Valimar walks us in as he did the others, see if you can hold the others back a little bit so I can have a conversation with him. There's some shit going on in the city.
Okay. As you say that to her, she looks over to you. I want you to roll a perception check with disadvantage for me.
Okay, with disadvantage would be a 15.
Okay. You didn't see anything too peculiar, but you noticed that she was focused on something as if she were somewhere else. And she snapped to oddly into about your second or third word of your request of her. As you say that, she kind of looks over at you. You see now, and you've noticed it's something she did before the fight that you may not have noticed earlier. As we all know, Valdera has long black hair only in the very top part of her head, whereas the left side of her head is shaven and the right side of her heads are shaven around the sides. And she has really bad scars on the one side of her face that run through that. On the other side, every once in a while, she will have someone that cuts hair, or she'll do it herself, will have different shapes and things cut in that short amount of hair. Okay? And you see that she has a eclipsing moon over top of a sun cut into the very short hair on the side of her head. Okay? It's something you didn't notice before, but it's evident now because she has her hair pulled over in such a way that it's very visible from the side you're talking to her from. Okay? And as that happens, she looks over to you and she sees you staring at that for just the briefest instance. She says, I'll give you the time you need. It's not a problem. As far as the peace I'm going to find from doing this, much more like the pieces I'm going to leave behind from doing this. She looks at you and she almost quivers her bottom lip as she's biting it a little bit. She goes, I need this. Maybe even almost too much. So whatever's bugging me about everything else, I'm going to make that big piece of shit pay for it.
He points up to the eclipse and he says, I'm not sure why you put it up there, but it should remind you that even in the darkest times, the light's somewhere. Even
She smiles and gives you kind of a tomboyish smile, and she looks at your arm, and then she grabs it like this and pulls it down to her back, and she comes in kind of close to you and smiles. She goes, oh, are you trying to be nice to me? And she snapped back a little bit, and she says, just hold your cutting words for the fight, okay? And as she does, she elbows you in the gut a little bit. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
He actually, that's, even with his bonuses, that was a 12.
Okay. It gives you a little bit of 2 points of non-lethal damage as it knocks the wind out of you a little bit, and she catches you off guard. And after she elbows you a little bit like that, she kind of what is the word? It begins with a P, and she would kind of walk in flirtatiously into the actual arena. Peruses into this place. Is that a word?
Peruse is like when you like read over something or glance at something.
Well, let's just imagine I didn't say that shit then. No, she just kind of casually strolls into the place, and when Valdera is her deadliest, is when she is a mixture of humor and focus. And from what she just did, Danny, getting things off her chest, talking to you earlier, having you there with her now, having her moment, you feel confident that we're going to see Valdera show up to this fight, not the tortured person you saw this morning. And what she did just there, it may have just been a ploy, but you know her pretty well. That seemed to be pretty genuine old butt-kicking Valdera getting ready to go in here and cause some havoc. Okay? So to everyone watching, Valdera is a human. She appears to be probably about 26, 27. Human, good-looking, black-haired female fighter. She is a kit created by us called the Herald of Destruction. She wields a large greatsword. She has a fur cloak made out of the hide of a chimera, and her armor reflects that. She has a big metallic lion head on one shoulder of her, and her colors of her leather war gear that she wears are gray and blue are her main colors. And she looks punk rocker. practically with her haircut, and she is a sassy fireball that will bring that great sword down on your face, and that is Valdera. As we're going through this, if you guys want to take a minute and describe your characters to people watching, you're more than welcome to. So when we get to you, I'll tell you when. Take a moment and describe to everybody so they can kind of get the picture we're getting. Okay. With that, she walks into the arena a couple steps, is looking around at different parts that were left behind, different pieces of stone and rubble. She's kicking them around. Valimar walks into the ring, and as he does, he holds his sword up, and he holds it up towards King Omadon, and holds the sword strong, waiting for King Omadon to give him the nod, letting him know that the next fight is okay to commence. As a long dramatic pause takes place, the human king, the elder human king, looks to the right and left and looks over at Landerless, sitting beside him, the court mage. Gives him a look and looks at all the people. Takes his arm out and sweeps it around the crowd as people cheer, and he brings it square up to Valimar and nods with a stern look and lowers his hand. At that, Valimar turns his sword towards Landerless like a clock dial. Gives him a cocked eyebrow and nods to him. Landerless steps forward, drops his hood back, and begins to speak the words that enchant and empower this summoning staff, this conjuring staff of these giants, and begins to make it work its magic. All of a sudden, the runes etched upon it, the large ones, begin to emanate a glow that seems to go from blue to white, almost like the Arctic region that they're from. The leather bindings and different pieces of trinkets and things that hang off of this staff, as we've described before, almost seem as if gravity does not exist for them. And they begin to raise up a little bit, almost as if they're underwater. With that, the exact same thing starts to happen again. The portal begins to crackle and open up somewhere about 20 to 30 foot away from it. Through the portal, you're able to see what looks like a blizzard-like conditions on the other side. Very strange for people in the arena, as half of the arena can't see it, where the other half of the people are talking about what they're seeing. And you hear arguments in the crowd. What's going on? We can't see, you know? But for you, Ron and Bastille and all you guys, you are seeing something happen. Okay? In that moment, Valimar begins to walk off and goes to stop and talk to all of you. Okay? He stops and talks to Valimar first for just a minute because she was up ahead of you guys walking into the ring. Okay? She says a couple words and stuff like that, and she takes her hand and puts on her sword, and she nods and looks over her shoulder and looks at you, Bastille, and gives you a nod. Valimar locks eyes with you as the sound of war drums starts beating steadily, coming through the portal as if there could be something coming in just any moment. Valimar begins to pace up towards you. You guys are about 15 foot into the action arena. Ron, you'd still be standing on the outskirts, and Tamara would be walking up beside you, and you would see her, and she would have her shield, and she'd be tightening up a strap on her arm, making sure that shield is held taut. And she takes her blonde hair, and she's kind of tying it up in a hand real quick like this and letting it go down the back of her neck. And as she does, she takes her flail and smacks against the shield like this. The long chain drops and drags the ground with what looks like a bladed mace head at the bottom of it. She looks over to you, and she looks tougher than she did before, Ron. She looks at you, she goes, take to the sky, if need be. I'll handle anything that would harm you, and I would ask for the same in return. You say anything back to her?
I would. I'm assuming that we've discussed strategy and she's going to be the tank in this.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and have a little flashback real quick because we're just trying to, we're putting it together, everyone. It's not a perfect game, okay?
Mhm.
So as you guys are sitting there together, watching this battle go on, Tamara has said that she has control where she can teleport people
Mhm.
so far away as long as they're close to her. So if something bad happens, she can't go in and get you and take you out. But if you're by her, she can take you guys with her out. She has a neat spell that one of her mentors, Rylan, the White Sword of the North, has taught her. Okay? Bastille has explained to everyone that he has, which Ron, you have seen this to a degree. Bastille has the ability to dimension door by throwing his dagger, almost like the Noctis in the Final Fantasy series. He can throw that thing, go to it, and he can actually do that twice in a turn. So he's extremely mobile. So Danny's character would have a good opportunity to create havoc for the beast, being able to go in, hit and do damage, and then get the hell out again, which is going to be really handy. But if one of them gets tied down, they would need your help, Ron.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as you're concerned, what would you like to tell everyone that you're willing to offer during the battle? And from the books that you've read of these great creatures, give us an example of what you plan to do during this.
Well, first, whoever would be going in and basically keeping the attention of the beast, I will cast and hold Shield of Faith on them,
Okay.
which is a +2 to AC.
Okay. And I'm not going to say just for theatrics, we're not all worried too much about the math now, but you're saying I will cast a shield of faith upon you if you're going to, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And was there anything else you wanted to add about
I would
offensive,
remind them
defensive?
that these beasts are not very intelligent. We can use that to our advantage.
Okay.
To watch out, to make sure we watch out for its tail that can knock you down.
Okay, right. We did notice that earlier. Tamara, Alex, I will refer to you as Tamara during this fight when it's her. And if something goes on in the crowd, I will refer to Oma and talk to you about that, okay?
Mm.
Danny, you probably got a call from your boss, right?
No, well, yeah, actually, Cal's commander-in-chief home. She's on her way home.
Okay. We're just going over some things. Ron says that whoever decides to get in there and starts eating some of the blood and it attracts this creature, he has a shield of faith that he can cast on people to help in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tamara has said that she can get people in and out of the battle with her teleportation, her Heaven's Gate spell. I described briefly what Bastille can do. Would you like to talk about that on your own, what you plan to do during this battle?
Bass says if y'all keep its attention busy, I'll tear it up from behind.
Okay. Okay. Valdera looks at you and snickers when you say that. And she goes, I don't wonder how Roselia would feel about that. At that point, so who she is. Who she is, can't help it. After you say that, she looks over at Tamara and she holds her fists up like this, and her and Tamara fist bump. Okay? These two are like sisters on opposite sides of a coin. And Alex, I've mentioned that to you before. And I'll try to help you. If you feel comfortable role-playing her and talking more, I'll give you all those chances, okay? I know it's a lot to throw on you all at once. So, by the way, everyone, Tamara is a character that was played by someone but can't make the game. And Alex is trying to play Tamara, the female paladin. And she only learned about the character tonight. So she has the character sheet and everything at her disposal, but there's a lot. There's a lot to a 9th level paladin that is like the devotion path, and there's a lot to it. So I'm just trying to help her through. Okay. With that, Valdera finally pulls her sword from the sheath, and this sword is called Wrathhaven, and it seems to be what looks like an ancient person's attempt at making a holy blade. Like it doesn't really look celestial, but it has images and depictions of that kind of stuff in it. But it's crude looking and dangerous looking. This wide blade looks like it would damn near be too heavy for her to wield. It is big. I mean, it's not like Cloud from Final Fantasy big, but the shit is large. And she hefts it. She has a strength of 18. She looks mighty as she holds it. She throws back the fur cloak over her back, and she holds the sword down at her side, letting it rest for a minute as she breathes heavy. And she looks to the creature. She looks at Tamara, and she goes, so I guess it's a competition between me and you then. Who gets the most hits and who takes the most?
You're on.
And she says to you, and she says, good luck, Blondie. And she fist bumps you, okay? So, Alex, just for a reference, Valdera is reckless, but she can break the defenses of creatures, and she will take a beating beyond what she normally can. She's self-destructive, and you know that. From your earliest memories of Valdera, you have been friends since you were children. And the chimera scar that she has on her face is something that happened when she saved you when you were very little. Did I ever tell you that story?
I don't think so.
Okay. Outside, just south of the Red Mountains, in the forest there around the Mountains of Tears, you were attacked by a chimera. There were a bunch of rogue creatures that were being escorted to the fighting city up at the Stone Crown, the city where Oma is originally from, okay? And some of these creatures were being brought up there to fight in that huge arena, as you've read about. And there was several that got loose. And a chimera was one of them. Chimeras, or as they call them, chimeras. I just can't help always call them chimeras because it's a bad habit. Got loose, and one found you practicing your arts and stuff. And Valdera, being the exact same age you are, came to your rescue as a young girl and distracted the creature long enough and fought it off long enough for the people that were actually escorting this beast came and were able to finish the fight. Pretty much actually saving the day, but that was the first time you and Valdera ever met. And she viciously threw herself at this creature. She roared back in its face. It's almost like a wild child. She had black, long, matted hair and wore furs and things like that. And that's how you and her first met and became friends. She's always been reclusive, and you've been friends for that long. And you always know that she puts you before herself, always in a battle. And one of the reasons why you strive to be the paladin that you are is because you know people like her need your protection. She may have been the tough person on that day, but ever since then, it's been in the back of your mind, you need to be the one that protects her now. You know what I mean? So you two have this kind of great chemistry. With that, Bastille, Valimar has walked to you. As the war drums beat coming through this portal, conversations are going on in the background. As he comes, he goes, you have words for me?
I talked to Doorblock today. He fears that the water genasi will strike again tonight. That's who he thinks is doing it with all of this. Tell me that, what's her name? Aloria is with Roselia tonight. Because he promised me Roselia will stay safe no matter what else happens.
He takes a long look and a deep breath, and you see his chest kind of inflate a little bit, almost like a nervous deep breath, as he looks around the crowd and all the people and all the ruckus and realizes the weight of your words. You know, almost like the great heist movies. Everyone wants to do their shit when there's a big crowd going on, almost like Ocean's 11 or something of that nature. And this dawns on him. As he looks around, he looks to you and he goes, I would consider her safe. I believe Roselia has taken her to a card game.
Bass would chuckle and say, I wouldn't bomb that card game if I wasn't invited.
Okay. He says, and also Oriantha is with them as well. The three
I
are
think they'll
together.
be fine.
Okay. He says, the king was pretty impressed with what happened on the last fight, Bastille. But I know you like a challenge.
Not in public, but
He says, don't get cocky. And good luck. He looks past
he
you and walks
smiled.
away. Okay. Okay. Because he's doing his job right now. Okay. He only wanted to stop and have a few short words with you. Everyone watching, Valimar is called the Grey Knight. He is the right hand. He is the lead of the Sentinels of New Gemdar. He is their main officer, and he looks like Agent Ward from S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, the good version of him, not the asshole that we saw later in the show. That's the actor that would portray him if given the chance. With that, he walks off. He walks past Tamara and Ron. Okay. You've got to know Valimar. You know, it's like Ron Burgundy. He's kind of a big deal, but he's not an arrogant person. The Grey Knight went through a lot of struggles to get where he is now. He looks to you and he says, please be safe. That's what he's saying to you, Ron. He looks over at Tamara. He looks, gives her a knowing nod from one warrior to another, Alex. He doesn't really say a word to you. He goes, I won't disrespect you with any kind of well wishes of victory. It's well within your grasp without my words. He would say to Tamara's character respectfully. Is there anything you all would like to say to him or interact with him before he walks off of the arena floor and lets you guys have at it?
I don't think I have anything.
Okay. Alex, anything you'd want to say to him at all?
That's actually good.
What's that? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said.
Oh, not that I can think of.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Okay. So with that, and I just know you're kind of new to this kind of thing. If anyone has any kind of buff or anything they're wanting to do themselves now that can last for a while, now's your chance to do little weird things like that. If you have a question, ask me. I'll give you just one question before we get into this. As Valimar steps off, all of a sudden, Bastille, Ignatius, all of you start to hear the jingle of chains, as if the creature is starting to come through the portal, and you see the tips of the horns enter into our reality. Coming from the blizzard on the other side, the snow-covered back and front mane and nozzle of this thing, the first thing that comes through is just this much of the nose and face of this behemoth creature. It looks through. It shows its large teeth. And I'm talking these are short swords for teeth, people, okay? And it's looking around, you see its nose kind of flare up. And you see that fog that you saw come out of the last one's nostrils. It's almost like hot air. And some of the blizzard snow from the other side of this portal seems to blow past it as its horns lower. And it looks down and it scrapes them mightily across the large stones that make up the Colosseum floor, throwing up sparks almost like flint. Okay? And then you see a large foot emerge with a large black iron-looking mystical shackle around its foot, tethering it to the portal. The creature starts to come the rest of the way out into the void. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the battle map now, okay? And now we'll start some epic music. Play some Rick Roll for us. Okay. And if anyone's wondering, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this YouTube video here, 10 hours of epic battle music. Not too loud, but just the right volume in the background. Okay. And now I'll bring up our battle map. Bam, everyone. Okay. Move this up top here. Okay, so coming out of the void is the large behemoth creature. As your guys' turn to show how you can take one of these things down and impress King Omadon and letting him possibly hire you all to be part of the forces that takes on these large giant shaman that conjured these things through the staff that we have acquired. He's wanting to learn about how they go down, and we're about ready to give him a lesson in it. Okay, you all are on the other side of the arena. Down on this side, grouped together. Valdera stands in the front. To her left, Ignatius. In the back and the rear is Bastille. And to the right, Tamara. Okay? Does anyone else have anything they'd like to prepare or do before I go ahead and have us roll initiative? Anything at all? Because this has got a moment. It's not like everyone's rushing at each other. The creature is still taking in the actual outside and structure. While this is all happening and you guys are making your decision here, how you want to do this. Oma, you are outside of the place and you hear a message being said to you per the message spell. Oma hears in her mind.
Okay.
And it is Landerless's voice. And that long kind of drawn out voice that he uses. He goes, let's try this time a little bit more focus on your behalf, shall we?
Indeed.
If you feel threatened or unable to perform your duty, now is the time to tell me before we let things get out of hand. Are you sure you can handle this?
I am sure.
As you said that, because for the sake of our city, I hope so. Then the message ends. Okay? You find yourself back in front of your pedestal in your little area there, looking on to the thing, and you begin to say the words as you are able. The potion is still holding strong, and you begin to chant the small phrase that you've been giving, and you can see for a moment the force field comes into view and then vanishes out of view. And the only way you know it's there every once in a while is you get a little shimmer of different pieces of it and aspects of it that have that golden kind of glow and have those little small like fire burning rings in it, almost like paper that has had an ember dropped in the middle. Every once in a while they appear in little places here and there up higher. That's the only way people would actually be able to tell that there's a field being held up that protects the audience and the king from what's going on inside. Go ahead and roll me a concentration check. That is a constitution. Okay, roll a d20 and then add your constitution bonus and then 1d4 on top of that because of something has been cast upon you. So 1d20, 1d4 plus your constitution bonus.
9.
Okay, to start, you feel shaky. Okay, you understood his words and you're determined to do this, but for some reason you are still worried because those Rougarou have not come back out yet for this battle, and you're too worried about looking around and seeing where they are and anticipating them instead of focusing on this. You have more of those faded spots. There's little burn-throughs on your side than some of the other folks. I want to roll a couple checks and see how they're doing. Okay, there is one person that seems to be doing a little bit worse than you are, but there are other people that rolled very well and seem to be able to maintain the force field for now. Okay?
Okay.
With that, Ron, was there anything else you wanted to ask or add before we jump into this stuff?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Bastille, did you have anything?
Yeah, he's going to cast mirror image as he steps through the gate. So there'll be 3 other images besides himself. 3. Let me make sure it might be 4 images.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that really quick here. I've got you on that one here. Let's go ahead and do, let's go layer, copy
Yeah,
layer,
3 extra.
layer, copy layer, layer, copy layer. Okay, now I'm going to make a folder. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, so regular Bastille, you're going to be the top of all those. Okay, and you've got 2, 3, and 4 underneath you. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to put you all into the folder. That was a folder, correct? Yeah, I think so. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. So we got Bass image, the first one. This one here is trash. We got Bass 2, Bass 3, Bass 4. Okay. So let's put you up here higher above the rest of them. Okay, let's go ahead and go to number 2. Move him out a little bit. Okay, his opacity goes down. Okay, number 3, move him down a little bit. His opacity goes down. Number 4, move him out a little bit. His opacity goes down. And Danny, just like that, we've got you, buddy. You've got it cast on you. You've got your 3 images. I'm going to lock them all into this folder. And now when I move that folder around, I'm going to name it mirror image. Okay, they all move with you, sir. And I can open your folder and move them individually. So awesome. Okay. All right. Ignatius, you said you were just ready to rock and roll. Was there anything you were casting or getting prepared?
No, I don't really have anything I'm going to cast prior to combat starting.
All right, I'm going to start up our battle sheet and then I will have us roll initiative. Just one moment, okay, guys? Okay, let's go Bast. Iggy. Let's have Tamara. Let's have Valdera. Okay, so Valdera is going to go ahead and do, what is the name of that move? I'll tell you in just a second. Blade of Wrath. She's going to interact Blade of Wrath for 3 willpower points. Let's go ahead and do, let's go willpower. Okay, times 3. And Blade of Wrath. And as you see this, is her, she's standing out in front of you guys. You actually hear her crack her neck and move her head back and forth, and her shoulders widen up. And although she physically doesn't take a larger form, she seems as if she's beefing herself up and getting ready for battle in some kind of unnatural way. She runs her fingers through her hair and grabs onto her blade. And now, instead of it being stuck into the ground, it seems to hover a little bit above the actual stones. And she's breathing a little bit heavier. Yeah, that's what you notice from her standing back behind her. So she has Blade of Wrath on. Okay. Tamara, just for instance, was there anything on there that you saw that maybe you were wanting to try to do before the fight?
Um, not that not that I can think of.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what you do then. Roll me a 1d20.
Okay. A 3.
Okay, so you really don't do much of anything. You're just got your flail and you're preparing to go into this. A 3 really doesn't give you too much of insight. You're a little nervous. This creature is very large, okay? And you have concerns about, Valdera has been kind of falling apart lately, and your character is more focused on how she's going to do in this, okay? With that, we're going to go ahead and roll some initiative rolls, everybody. It's time to get this going. Okay, Danny, you go ahead and roll first and tell me what your total is.
That would be a 27.
27, nice, buddy. Okay, Ignatius, tell me what yours is, sir.
21.
Nice, buddy. You guys are rolling shit. Hell yeah. Okay, Tamara, go ahead and roll yours, and I have your initiative bonus written in the middle, far right-hand side of the character sheet. I think it's an 8, but I'm not sure is your bonus.
It says +9.
+9, hell yeah. Okay,
There-
roll D20 and add 9 to it.
A 13.
Damn. You better throw them dice away.
Yeah.
Better just get rid of that shit now. Okay.
I'll switch to the other side.
Sorry, you did better than Valdera, which gets an 11. And now I get to roll for my buddy. Okay. So, as it comes fully into its own, the creature stands about right here. Okay? Bastille, as is custom, you, sir, go first. What would you like to do on your turn?
That's an ass load of ground to cover.
Well, I mean, it depends on the size of the ass, but yeah, it's a little bit.
How
Okay.
far ahead is Valdera?
What's that, buddy?
How far ahead is Valdera from me?
5, 10, 15, 20 foot between you and her.
All right, I'm going to take 20 foot of his movement and move up to her. And he's going to put his hand on her blade and cast Shocking Grasp.
Nice, buddy. Is Shocking Grasp a major action or a bonus?
It is, I believe it is a major. Let me double check.
Okay.
It's a cantrip, but it is one action.
All right. All right, so as he does this, there's something that he knows about Valdera that not many people do. And you've kind of caught her unaware as you've done this. But as he walks up to her, he grabs her blade and crackles of static, not quite lightning, but visible electric seem to come out from around the gloved and black leather arm of Bastille. As he grabs the blade, it seems to go up and the blade ignites to a degree with a bit of lightning all around it for just a moment, and then it becomes much more subtle. But every so many seconds, you'll see a streak of some kind of electricity shoot across the blade. And as it does, you see the hair raise up on her head just a little bit, and she turns around and looks at Danny, and she has that same kind of sparkle in her eyes now as she gives a grin and just smiles and nods her head, knowing what's coming next. And you can literally hear her gripping the leather handle of this sword, and you can hear it tense as the leather bindings tighten. You've used 15 foot of movement, or it was 20 foot, or not, what was it, 15 or 20, Danny? I think it was 15.
20, I think.
Just 20, and you've used your major action. What is next for you, Danny?
I'm going to use my other 25 foot of movement and keep moving north.
Okay. I'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You are now here. There are some pedestals in the middle of the arena. There's a fallen one over here, and you have quite a bit of distance to cover before you're to the creature. What are you doing from
All
this
right.
area?
I'm going to use my bonus action and Misty Step to the top of the pedestal.
Okay, and that's this one right here?
Yep.
Okay, at this point, all your mirror images are still around you. Okay? Now, in the spell mirror image, are you able to move them individually, or they always stay around you? It's kind of like just multiples of you.
Just multiples of you. They stay with you.
That's what I thought. I like these effects. This is really neat. Okay, so with that, Danny, you've used your first bonus action. Well, I know everyone watching is like, what do you mean it's first? What kind of bullshit D&D are you playing? But Pascal actually has two because of a feat that he has. So,
Well,
now what are you doing?
I actually used all my movement, so I don't get to use a second bonus action because we
Correct.
rewrote that. So what he's going to do is, as he lands there, when he crouches, he throws his hands out like this, and because he's still wearing a cloak and stuff, the only thing you would see is two flaming daggers flash out in his hands.
With the radiant flames from your celestial patron?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Okay. With that, Danny has beefed up Valdera a little bit. And that is the end of his turn. Okay. Second one. And let's go ahead and get the glasses on because shit's getting real on my end. Got the old man bifocals going on. Me and Ron's we're all in this club together. Okay, the next person to go is Iggy. Ignatius, my friend. Finally, after 4 months, you're in the middle of something here, buddy. What would you like to do on your turn, sir?
All right. How far am I away from the behemoth?
Okay. 5, 10. And by the way, the rules we play with people, and there have been, I watched an interview with the creator of the game. They do count directional ones as 5-foot moves as well. And I've always done that regardless. But a directional move is also just 5 foot. So let's say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 100 foot.
Okay.
Roughly 100 foot.
I will move.
Ron cast tape measure to see how far he is from the beast. Nice, buddy.
All right. I'm going to move, I guess, towards kind of like where Bastille is, kind of behind that pillar as far as I can.
Okay. And your normal rate of movement is what?
It is
Because it's 30,
40.
and you also get your dexterity. Yeah, 40. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's going to put you right at the back of that pillar, okay? Do you want to be out to be able to cast a spell, or do you just want to be, because you could go here,
I want to be
cast
able
a
to.
spell, and then duck behind it, whatever you want to do.
I want to kind of cast a spell on it, and I'm going to cast confusion on it.
Of course you are, Ron. Just a minute, let's turn this down just a touch. Okay? Of course you do. Okay, what's the range on your confusion spell, Ron?
90 feet.
Buddy, you got that shit all day. Do you have to be in line of sight of it?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do with you is then we're going to say you were here, okay? You were able to cast it, and then we'll let you use the last so many feet of your movement to go over a little bit, okay?
All right.
So what is the DC of this confusion that this creature needs to break? Remember, it's a 1d20 plus your spell DC.
Yep.
And whatever
Right,
skill
so-
points you've spent on it, and all the other goodies that we have in our crazy game.
So
Make sure
I
you
got
keep
a
track of how
natural
many
19.
magic points you spend too, please.
Pardon me?
Oh, I just say make sure you guys keep track of how many magic points you're using
Oh.
too, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that's here's. So I'm sorry. I had my I had which thing to it?
Okay,
The
On your
spellcasting ability.
yeah, so on your character sheet, where you want to look is, tell you in just a minute, buddy, okay. You're going to see a big rectangle in the middle. It's going to have all your, it's going to say weapon types, okay?
Yep.
And then down below that, you're going to look and there's going to be a line there. There's going to be two little scroll icons. The first is going to see a spell save DC, and the second one on the right is going to say spell attack modifier, okay?
Yes.
You're looking at the spell save DC. It should be 1d20 plus your proficiency bonus plus whatever skills or your ability modifier with your stuff. So you cast wisdom, correct?
Yes.
So your proficiency bonus, I think, is 4.
3.
It's 3. Okay, what's your wisdom bonus?
5.
So that's 8 there. And do you have any skills to make it more potent that you'd spend on it?
Got Swiftcaster, Spellcraft, Empower Spell.
Empower spell makes it cause more damage. That's a good
Right.
one.
I got Hone Spell, but for
Yeah, potent spell would be what you're looking for.
no, I don't have that. So I'm just
So it's that bonus plus a 1d20, what we've read so far.
8. So that puts it at 27.
Damn!
I had a natural 19 on the die.
Of course you did, you succubus. All right. So with that, make note that the Behemoth is going to use a legendary action and shun off the effects of the confusion. So here's what you guys saw. Ignatius rushes up. The feathers on his head begin to stand up as he raises his arms. And it's the first time that you've ever heard Ignatius cast spells of this nature. And as he weaves mystical markings into the air in front of him, it's almost like he's drawing or sculpting of nothing actually there, no canvas, just air. A bewildered look seems to come over top of the Behemoth's face as it seems to stumble for just a minute. It looks to the ground. It's tense, and those muscles that tense between its eyes and all the different crevices begin to loosen for just a minute. And then all of a sudden you hear a slow rumble start back up into its chest as if it's not having any of that. Not today. And all of a sudden the intensity comes back, but now it's even more fierce than it was before. And it's showing more teeth and lets out a roar in that direction that's actually, you can physically feel it, as if an explosion has went off and you're feeling the force of it wipe across the stone and the arena floor as his spell started to take hold, but then failed. And it has used a legendary action. Okay, what are you doing next, Ignatius?
I am going to cast Sacred. I'm sorry, not Sacred Name. Spiritual Weapon.
Awesome. That's a bonus action, right?
What's that?
Is that a bonus action?
It is a bonus action.
All right. And describe, first off, I'm sorry, go ahead and describe what you look like, Ron, and things, and then describe what this spell does.
Sure. I am a older gentleman. If you equated me to human years, about mid 60s, mid to late 60s. I am a basically a descendant of an angel. I have wings, although I have not shown them yet. I've kept them hidden under a cloak so far. Only a handful of people know who and what I really am. I am a very proper and intelligent type cleric who has spent most of his life researching and studying. So I have little to no field experience.
So as they used to say in the commercials, so now you're out here so you can ride the movies.
Yes.
Right? And he's an avian race, which is an aerial race that has actual feathers for hair. And they actually have eyes that are a little bit larger than the normal mortals and a little bit skinnier, smaller frame. But that is the description of Ron's character. Now, you are casting spiritual weapon. Please describe that for us and tell me what I need to do for you here, Ron.
Okay. I create a floating spectral weapon with a range that lasts for the duration or until I cast it again. So basically, the weapon can take any form I'd like. And it does it on an attack anything within 5 feet of it. As a bonus action on my turn, it gets 1d8 plus my spellcasting ability modifier.
Awesome.
For damage. And as a bonus action, I can, on my turn, I can move it up to 20 feet and repeat the attack.
Okay, so how far from you does it
for
start
1
out
minute.
at?
So it's going to be, let's go with a, for my weapon type, let's go with a Warhammer.
It's a mighty warhammer.
Pardon me?
So a mighty warhammer is going to be.
I will have it start out. I'd have it start out about. Can you zoom back on the map a little bit?
Yes.
I would have it start out. About halfway between me and the Behemoth.
Okay, what is the range of that to start it out?
It's a 60-foot range to start.
Awesome. Okay, I'll put you about right here then. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be right even to the top row. Let me go ahead and bring that in here now. Unless I go through and search for Warhammer images, it's going to be a minute. But I have something that I think will suffice. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. And I have spells and effects. Let's go ahead and use, let's see which one to use. Let's go ahead and give you this one. Okay, so let me go ahead and work some magic here real quick, buddy, and I will bring this into the fray. Okay, we will call this spiritual weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just a minute, I'm going to have to resize it. I love these spell effects. Bringing these in here, being able to do them like this. It is fun, cool stuff to be able to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, Ron, I'm going to shrink this down to where it takes up a 5-foot space. And we're going to say that is going to be your spiritual weapon. Okay, buddy?
Yep.
Move you back up here. Okay, let's go ahead and move you around here a little bit. And it's not going to be the most fancy, but for tonight, it will work. Okay, let's go ahead and hit OK. And then real quick, only take me a second here. And there 4. Airbrush. Let's go with or more of a golden kind of colored character person here, I would say. Let's go ahead and go with that. Let's go with, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about all day right there. Okay, let's go ahead and hit it a couple times. Oh yeah. Okay, and then let's go ahead and go here. Move that down. Now it's all in the same one. Take that, delete it. Okay, buddy. And just like that, you got a cool spiritual weapon. That is right there. Okay? Does that work for you, Ron? Okay. And Ron, for some reason there, I wasn't able to hear your reply. Does that work for you okay there where it's at?
Yeah, sorry, I lag spiking again. I don't know what's going on with my internet tonight, but yeah, that works well for me.
Cool. And Danny, how is everybody else? Am I coming across clear to you and Alex?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
it's definitely my internet. It keeps popping up unstable connection, so I know it's me.
Well, no, it's all good. We'll see. We'll just say you have a displacement cast on you, so it's perfectly fine. Okay. A little bit of online internet humor there. Okay, so you've tried the confusion, and although it didn't work, you did make it spend a legendary action. You have got yourself, I'm going to go ahead and help you move back into your place here. And by the way, Ron, your character's got a folder over here, and the reason that is because I have your shadow on a different layer than you in case you fly.
Okay.
That way I can separate them and make it look right on the screen, okay? So, and I used the end of your movement. You were behind the pillar. Is there anything else you can do on your turn?
That is it for me on this turn.
Okay, Iggy is done. All right, good round. Okay, the next person up is going to be the Behemoth. Oh my. About to get a little real here. Okay. All right. So on the Behemoth's turn, it is going to, oh yeah, I've got to do that. That's fantastic. Okay. It is going to charge towards this stone pillar right here in the middle of the floor. Now, Danny, if I'm not mistaken, did we not say that these were like 15 foot tall, 15 to 20 foot tall? Or did we say differently last time we played? Okay.
I think about 15 to 20 is what it was.
So these things are in fairly rough shape. You know what? No. Why would I do that when there's one already broken right here in front of me? Okay. Let me roll a check because this isn't the most intelligent creature. I'm going to see which one it chooses to do. 1 through 10, good choice. 11 through 20, bad choice. Bad choice. Okay. The creature is going to charge and gore its horns into this stone pillar right here. Okay. And at first, you're taken back by the ferocity of this creature. I mean, when it moves, every hair on its body shifts and its muscles ripple, and you can feel it almost like fireworks are going off. Like I said, you can feel that. It's not called compression, but what's the word where you can feel that flash from it?
Concussion.
Yeah, concussion. You can feel that from every movement that it makes. It goes over and it runs its horns into this large pillar here. It is going to attempt to break it off with its horns and hurl it in your all's direction. Okay? That's what this thing is actually doing on its turn right now. So let me roll some things for the creature. Danny, I want you to roll me a 1d20 and a 1d6 and tell me what your result is. Not your character, just roll it for me.
A natural 20 and a 1 on the 6.
Okay. So now I'm going to roll for my creature. Okay. So as it runs and hits this pillar that is in better condition than we had thought, it is fairly sturdy. It's able to rake its horns left and right, and it takes enough of its action to where an actual piece of this pillar falls onto the ground in front of it, but it took too much of its effort where it's not able to hurl it at you on the same turn. Okay? But it was able to get its horns around this mighty pillar, break it in half, and have it tumble at its feet. As you can see the creature now trying to dig its horns up underneath of it and get ready to do some crazy shit with it. That's its major action, and it has a little bit of movement left still, and I have something else I want to do as well. Okay, I can't do that yet. I can't do this. Okay, with its bonus action, as it snorts and starts to scrape its foot into the ground, you see the hair and fur around this creature and its long mane that goes down with a spike of black hair down its back begin to become rigid and harden. It almost looks like it becomes metallic of some sort, not made of the same fur that it was previously, and it seems to cover it with some kind of sheen as the natural waviness of its large mane things becomes much more rigid and has a reflective surface to it. Not quite turning to metal, but something has obviously happened. On that, the creature is preparing to get its tusks or its large horns underneath of this large pillar in front of it, and that will end the creature's turn for now. Okay? The next person to go up, well, it's all me. Tamara is next, and Valdera is after that. So, Alex, do you have something you'd like to do with her, or do you want to roll with the 20 and get some advice?
Let's see. Can I get within 60 feet of it on this turn?
Yes, you could. It would take all your movement, but you could get within 60 foot of it.
Okay.
Okay, so let me position you here real quick. Hold on.
Alrighty.
Tamara. She's got some really cool shit she can do the more you have a chance to look at it. And I advise in between our turns, enjoy what's going on. But if you are looking there trying to come up with something, that's awesome too. You know what I mean? Okay. So what's her normal movement? I think it's like 35.
Let's see, let's get back to it. It's 30.
Okay, I don't think I added your dexterity bonus into it, but because the armor she has on and shield, it's lessened, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, you can get just within 60 foot. I mean, it's right on. So the only way you could really do it with the angle is to run to the right of Ignatius and Bastille as they are around this column here, okay?
Okay.
So you would have to run over to the right, and then you would be within a 60-foot, damn near a straight line to the creature. Okay, and what would you like to do now that you're there?
I think I'd like to cast Ryland's Pillar of Judgment.
Nice. Describe to us what that does, please. Read that description if you don't mind.
Sure. Okay. You summon a lightning bolt-like pillar of radiant energy down from the heavens upon a 15-foot cube within range. All creatures within this area take 2d6 radiant plus 2d6 lightning damage, plus your character's charisma bonus on a failed dexterity save, and half as much on a successful one.
Okay.
In addition, yeah. Uh, and I don't think anyone's close enough to be healed at the same time.
So if you are around people and you cast that
Yeah.
on the creature, is it not work as a teleportation, or does it heal people that are standing around you when you hit it? I think it teleports you, doesn't it?
I don't
It's
see
okay.
anything about teleporting. It says, in addition, up to 3 allies that you choose within the area of effect are healed for 1d6 plus your charisma modifier.
Okay, so just for this instance, let's say that if you were standing around people that were around you and you cast this pillar down,
Yep.
everyone around you would be healed for a certain amount too. We will do that dynamic with it for this battle, okay? Now, everyone, so everyone is fully healed at this moment, but this still does quite a bit of damage, and you want to cast that spell down upon the creature, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, Behemoth needs to roll a dexterity saving throw to be able to take only half damage from this attack. So you need to tell me what the DC of that is. So what you'll do is you'll roll 1d20, and you will add that total to what your spell DC is.
That's
In your spell DC, there is a large rectangle right in the middle of your character sheet. And at the very bottom right-hand corner of that, you're going to see 2 little paper scrolls. The one is going to be called Spell Save DCs, and that's the one you want to look at. Are you able to find it?
Yeah, I see it now. That would be 10.
Correct. So 1d20 plus 10.
16.
16. Okay, I'll tell you here in just a minute if I pass or not. It did not. It was not able to take cover or get out of the way of the blast. When you hit it, go ahead and roll full damage.
Okay. What do I roll for that?
Remember, you read it off there just a minute ago. It was like so many points radiant and so many points lightning, and you would just roll those dice and give me the total.
Okay, thanks.
That reminds me, from what Ignatius told us, this thing doesn't do well with radiant damage.
I believe I said that you could hold it back with radiant light. I don't know if we said anything about particularly damage.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Alex, what was your total?
Okay, so I got 6 radiant damage and 8 lightning damage.
Okay, it's 14, and you add your charisma modifier to that. And I believe your charisma modifier is 4. So that would be 8. 14,
yes.
It would be 18 points of radiant and lightning damage to the creature. Okay. As you cast that down, and I'll let you get more descriptive in the spells once you've played her a little bit. I don't mean to steal your thunder, literally. As Tamara holds her shield down to the side and sticks her hand up with her flail. Her flail is actually her holy symbol. And as she brings the flail crashing down before her, as she does, this pillar of light begins to shimmer around the behemoth for just a brief moment. And as the behemoth seems to look up, you can see a sparkle of some kind of something in its eye as this pillar that's 10 foot or 15 foot wide comes crashing down with full of radiant flames and streaks of lightning throughout it. It comes and goes in just an instant, but as it does, you see a shimmer and smoke come off of the creature as it's physically wounded. And on her side, on Tamara's side, as the same thing happens, you see a burst of those radiant flames sweep out from underneath her feet in a circle of 15 foot as well. And it seems to slowly burn out and go into the ground as there was an effect around the creature and her both at the same time. With that is her major action. She has used her movement. You have a bonus action, and you have a reaction when it's triggered. For your bonus action, is there anything you would like to do, or do you need assistance?
Let's see. I might want to cast Sanctuary on something.
What was the name of the spell you wanted to cast?
Sanctuary.
Okay, is that a bonus action spell?
Yes.
Awesome. Ron, can you help her out with Sanctuary?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get a drink. Well, no, I'll wait till after the spell, then we'll all take like a 15-minute break.
That sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Sanctuary.
Logan's.
The emoji I'm getting is
All right. Let me see. Casting time, 1 bonus action. Range 30 feet. Components VSM, a small silver mirror, but she's got her focus, I'm sure.
Right.
Duration is 1 minute. You ward a creature within range against attack. Until the spell ends, any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack or harmful spell must first make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. The spell doesn't protect the warded creature from area effects such as an explosion of a fireball.
Okay.
If the warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, or deals damage to another creature, the spell ends.
Awesome. Okay. So, who would you like to cast Sanctuary on? Everybody is practically within range of this, Tamara. So, who would you like to cast this spell upon? You have Danny's character up here that has mirror image on him. You see several different blurred images of him all crouched up on top of this pedestal. It's really cool. You have Ignatius, which just cast his spell and is ducked back down behind the pillar. You have yourself, and you have Valdera back here getting ready to run into the battle. I'll let you cast any one of those people that you want.
I'd probably want to cast on Valdera because she's probably going to do something rash.
Okay. So you cast the spell on Valdera. I'll go ahead and let that happen. Okay. So let me do a little bit of something here with her. Okay. So Valdera, I'm going to put down Sanctuary. Okay, now here's the bad news. And that's fine because we live and we learn. But now, Ron, as soon as Valdera attacks this creature, Sanctuary's over, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so having said that, you might not want to cast it on her because she's going to be in there getting ready to kick the shit out of this thing. You'd be better off to cast it on somebody that isn't going to damage this thing quickly. to keep them safe from its onslaught. So you have Danny and Ignatius you can pick from.
Okay.
Just to give you a heads up, you do know Bast a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So I probably wouldn't go with him.
So let me help you out a little bit, Alex. It's perfectly fine. We're just teaching you. Roll 1d20 for me.
Alrighty. 18.
Okay, that's a really good roll. Okay, so here's a little DM's insider tip for you because you're just getting used to this, okay? Sanctuary is great to cast around somebody that's going to be standing back and only healing people. Like, if Ignatius, if you were to cast that on him, on his next turn, he probably wouldn't want to attack. He'd want to keep that. So maybe Ignatius would be able to get out there a little bit more and cast more warding things that would be helpful. If not, if you didn't want to do that, you could use your bonus action and cast Divine Smite on yourself, which would give you a bonus of 2 to 3d6 on your next attack against a creature. Those are two options for you. So you could either empower yourself if you're getting ready to go in there and tear this thing a new asshole, or you could make it where you make Ignatius a target that the Behemoth would less likely select. Those would be good choices for you, okay? Which one of those you want to do?
Okay. Cast Sanctuary on Ignatius.
Okay, that works. All right, so Ignatius, because of that, this is fantastic because I have your shadow here. Let's change color of that bad boy, shall we? You're there. Layer 3. Let's go filter, color adjustment. Let's go hue and saturation. Oh, I love this stuff. If it'll work, I don't know if it will. Oh yeah, all day. That's right, it was black to begin with. So we'll keep it white for now. Okay. So now you'll see you have white around the bottom of your character, Ignatius. And you need to write down a note that you have Sanctuary cast upon you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now, Tamara, with that out of the way, you've used your major action, you've used your bonus action and your movement. Other than your regular reaction, you're pretty much done, okay?
Okay.
Okay. With that, everyone can go ahead and take a 15 and get a quick drink or whatever they need to do. I'm going to, just a moment here, going to stop the share on this real quick. Okay, so I'll pause this and we'll be back and we will continue on to be Valdera's turn when we come back. And after that, Bast, it'll be you, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, here we go. I'm going to pause it. Guys, about 15.
Okay.
Okay, and everyone's back from break. Danny was giving us a little stand-up humor there in the in the downtime, which is pretty good stuff. Learned a lot about Tai Chi. It was good. Alex, you've just went and took care of some pretty cool shit with Tamara. Trying to do a little bit of battlefield control and brought down a pretty hefty hit on top of it. Let's go ahead, return to the battle map, and give Valdera her shot at, let's see what she can do here. Okay, so here we are. Move you guys up here. Okay, so on Valdera's turn, the creature's over here fighting with this large pillar of stone. Valdera is charged up in some way from what Bastile's character has bestowed upon her. He casts a shocking grasp upon her blade. Valdera is going to spend I don't think I can hit it with anything I have at this range, but it's going to happen. So Tamara has this side of the pillar taken care of. I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. I'm going to go there with Valdera, which is right here beside the pillar, 3 beside the pillar. I'm going to use her major action and her movement to do a dash, which takes all of it. It puts her right here. Okay. And then let me refresh my memory as to what kind of bonus action options she has real quick. And then I will start the turn over, okay? Just one moment. Okay, so I'm still under the Blade of Wrath, which is fantastic. I've used my major action, so I can't do any other extra thing there, but I can do my Blade of Ruin. Okay, so with that, no, I don't think so. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Okay. Okay. With that, you see Valdera hold her blade at her side, and as she draws it up in a straight form and twirls it around over the top of her head and puts it on top of one of her shoulders and holds it back and plants her feet steadily, you hear what sounds to be the crackling of stone, almost like stone being pushed against stone, a loud grinding sound, as particles of little bits and brittle pieces of stone from the floor begin to pull into around her feet, as if she is the center of some kind of greater gravity. Okay? As she does, you see the blade itself transform yet again to where the blade itself almost looks like it is made out of some kind of granite-like substance, with like almost like a dark blacks and grays and golden and silver specks throughout of it, is some kind of earth element has ingrained itself in Wrathhaven, her blade. And now, with lightning piercing through it at the same time, she is readying herself to do some kind of major hit on her next turn. And that will be the end of Valdera's turn. Okay? Let me go ahead and write that in. Do I have that ready? Blade of Ruin. Okay. So with that, top of the turn is going to be Bastille. Bastille, you are perched up here with all kinds of duplicates of yourself, kind of looking the situation over. You see a weapon over here, a great warhammer that seems to be hovering in the air with a neat kind of symbol on the ground underneath of it, and a golden aura. Valdera's up here getting ready to break into some serious shit. You've seen her do this before. Tamara brought down a great pillar of magical energy underneath of it. And Ignatius is running all kinds of counter magic. It's going very well, but it's just getting started. What are you doing?
And 2 trains of thought. Let's see. The first thing he's going to do with, he gets to do this once, is a free action as Eldritch Gate. He whips a dagger at the stone pillar across from him.
This one to the right or to the left?
The one to the right.
The broken one.
Yep.
And it's only 10 foot tall.
That's cool.
And you can throw the dagger that far, correct?
Yeah, it's basically doing Misty Step, so it's got to be within 60 feet. But yeah, he can definitely throw 60 feet.
Okay.
Actually, it's, yeah.
Roll to hit armor class 10 for me.
Oh, yeah. 28.
Okay, so Danny, describe it, and I'll go ahead and move you.
So as he whips the dagger out, the dagger flashes in radiant energy, and he disappears and ends up with the dagger in his hand on top of that post.
5, 10, 15. You are within 20 foot of the creature now. You better hurry up.
So using his first bonus action and reserving his movement, going to use Misty Step. And this one actually cost, so it's 11. And I will end up above his back.
Okay. You see Danny just jumping in and out of reality, teleporting over the battlefield. And now he is up above the actual creature. How far up above it, Danny?
10 feet sounds good.
Okay.
Coming down with Twin Vipers.
Okay. I need to roll something. Roll me a stealth check.
$27.
The creature is not aware that you are there. You would have surprise on the creature.
Because I have surprise with his old, almost said MOS, the army is hard to get out of you apparently. With his old class, his old as an assassin, he gets the assassinate feature and the backstab feature. So that allows him to actually do the Twin Vipers move we wrote up using all of his feats combined. So
the power is yours.
Basically, the movement's already there because I've created the distance. He's already in the air, so he doesn't have to jump. But I'll make the acrobatics check anyway, just to make sure I'm in the air doing what I should be doing. With his acrobatics, that would be a 24.
I think that works.
So left up, can make 2 dagger attacks upon the target. Usually they're called shots aimed between the neck and shoulders, but I'm going to say that I'm not really, I mean, that's a huge area in it, so I'll give it
+2 to hit this creature because of its size. Yeah.
So for the 2 daggers, there's advantage on the first one. That is 31, 32, 33. And then for the second one, 31.
Okay.
33, 31.
Okay, those are both breaching hits. So you have found a weakness in between the crevices where you see that maybe there's not as much musculature to the creature. But you have found spaces in here where you're able to get your blades in that don't have to deal with its natural defenses. Okay? It'll still take some damage resistance just because of where you're hitting it, but not as much as it would have been if you just went full tilt against the thick muscular hide of this creature. So both of those hits are successful.
All right, so
breaching.
because of his radiant daggers, they actually do 1d6 critical, so that is a total of 18 for the daggers, and then the backstab damage.
Hold on. Is this all happening at once? Is that the trick of this?
Yeah, it's...
Okay, so both daggers together are doing a total of 18.
Right, and then comes the backstab. 3, 9, 14, 19, 24. And because it's critical, 24, 48. So 48 plus 48 plus 18, 6. 66 points of damage.
Fantastic, Danny. Go ahead, please.
The other stuff that happens, usually there's a DC of 17 or a DC that adds up to be knocked prone, but we know that's not happening.
Okay. So I'll describe this to everybody so they know. Danny has a combination attack that he has created, and he spent a feat point to get, called Twin Vipers. And the trick is that daggers on their own can only do so much damage, but he has worked to perfectly time both hits to sink in at the exact same moment. That's what the feat accomplishes. He can do it from dropping to assassinate someone, or using this Misty Step feature as he just did. So the damage is cumulative. So he gets the damage from both daggers at the same time, plus he gets a 1d6 for every 10 foot of falling that he does as he lands them at that pinpoint moment. And that's why he was rolling the acrobatics check while he was doing this, is to make sure he could coordinate all that and succeed. That's how we've made the feat for him. It's really cool if he can pull it off. Sometimes it doesn't go good. Today it did. Go ahead, Dave.
Actually, I didn't add the blunt force damage from the fall. That was just his backstab.
Yeah, you'd be 1d6 more.
3.
Okay, so 69.
That's awesome.
Bill and Ted are fan. See, that's the greatest. There's new Bill and Ted movies out, and what would they be saying right now?
Excellent.
69, dude. Yeah, that'd be it. Sorry. I love the movies, and call me cheesy, but I don't care. So anyway, 69 points of piercing damage to this son of a gun, which breaches, and that, oh my gosh, that's a good hit, Danny. That's super good. 60. All right, the daggers go deep into around where the spine of this thing was. You could swear that the tip of your daggers touch bone, which sends a chill through you. As it does, automatically, the large muscles clench together, almost catching your blades within there, and almost feel like they're stuck and it's hard to even pull them out. Okay? Just 1 minute. It's going to do something as a reaction. Okay, if that is going to try to throw you off with its reaction, I need you to roll. I'm going to make you do it with advantage because you have daggers dug into it and you're holding on, but this is a strength situation. This is not going to be easy for you. Okay? So this creature is cramping up its muscles, and those large porcupine-like, spike-like tendrils that come out of the middle of its mane seem to flex, and it seriously does this quick, hardcore shake to try to throw you off as it races up on its back legs. You almost feel it's almost like you're driving over a hill. Your stomach seems to get upset and turn as all of a sudden you're looking up the ceiling and you're thinking, oh, shit, what have I done? This thing reaches up and just goes, like it, right? Roll me a strength saving throw with advantage, Danny. Tell me what you get.
I would actually like to do something else. As it goes to flip me off, I'm going to use its momentum and my free running acrobatics feat, and I'm going to let it throw me and use that jump also.
Okay. So tell me in game terms how you're going to pull that off.
So basically, as he goes to flip, I'm going to make a dex check using my free running feat, basically to make the acrobatics check in the air and then make the landing.
Okay, you have movement left.
Oh yeah, because I haven't used any of it. I used Misty Step.
Misty stepping. Okay. Now, typically, I'm going to let you try to land acrobatically off this if he's able to throw you with this force throw. Okay? But normally when you're rolling an ability check or something like that, that entails an action. You understand what I'm saying? You're having an interaction with something where it is taken either a mental note or a physical note or something from your person to perform it.
Okay. Well, then I have a way to do that. I have
I just want to make sure, do we agree on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can justify it because one, he has uncanny dodge as a thief, which allows him to, when he's attacked like that, he can normally make a huge dex save for half damage. So in this case, he's just using that, but his feat on top of that is he's good at taking falls to begin with. So
Okay, now did you use a bonus action to do one of your Misty Steps earlier?
yes, and I still have one left because I haven't used. That's my other option. Is I thought about just teleporting off again, but instead,
Okay.
I'm just going to backflip off.
Okay, that's cool. So that will make your other bonus action, and that'll be that used, correct?
For the
That'll take 15 foot of your movement, or half your movement, and that'll be another bonus action for you to do some kind of flip maneuver off the back of this creature instead of being thrown to your peril.
I'll tell you what.
Because he's throwing you off with force, and if you're deciding that you're going to turn this into rocket fuel for you and propel off, it's going to take some kind of action on your part. Now, since you have disengaged and things like that, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to let you spend your other bonus action that you've earned through your feats to turn this into a controlled action on your part.
Sounds good.
Kind of like a disengage or something of that nature, which you're able to do, uncanny dodge, something of that nature.
Sounds good.
Okay.
$28 for the acro check.
Okay, so you do succeed on that. So as he throws you, and trust me, he whipped your ass on the strength check. It was amazing how ferocious the velocity was of this guy shaking you off. Okay, which direction would you like to jump since you got such a high check? Which way you want to go?
He's going to flow with it, so when it goes back, he'll just go backwards off of it.
Okay, and when you're landing, we'll say you land about right here. Are you okay with that?
Yep. Well, how far was this throw going to be?
Just a minute. $20 foot.
Okay. So that's about right.
10. It'd actually be about right here. Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. And you're able to land because you're free running feet with no instance or no kind of damage from that?
Yeah, anything 10 foot and
okay.
10 foot and down, 0 roll for him. 20 foot and up, he's got to beat a DC of 10.
Right on. So you're okay, and you did this. So now you've landed after being thrown from his back. You've used your bonus actions. Okay. What do you have left that you can do on your turn?
Nothing unless he's attacked. All he's got left is a reaction if he's attacked.
Nope. That is it for right now. Okay. So that's your position. Okay. You still had some movement if you wanted it.
Yeah, actually, how much movement did I have to use in that?
Half, at least.
Okay, so he's got 22 left, so let's just call it 20. Okay. So he'll take 20 foot backwards.
Okay. There you go. All right. Next up on the turn, Iggy. Buddy, you just saw Danny's character jump up there and get the bull by the horns literally. And for a minute, you were like, yeah, man. Oh, it was all good. And then he did some shake shit and rear it up. And he didn't realize how tall this creature could be when it stood up on its back legs. It almost made you sick at your stomach. You can only imagine. And Danny was able to pull his daggers and use his legs and bound off this sucker, do a flip and land unharmed and back away from this creature. He was able to go in, do a massive hit, and get off, and it has enraged this creature. It is your turn, Ignatius. What would you like to do? You are under the sanctuary spell, so if you damage it, it would cancel that out, but it's D&D, and you do what you want to do, sir.
All right. I don't know if this is going to work or not,
I love it.
but I would like to start by shouting to them that if this works, everyone hit it at once, where Bass just hit it. And I'm going to
Okay, cool.
I'm going to use my channel divinity read thoughts to try to connect to the creature and read its emotions and thoughts.
Okay, does it get a saving throw versus this?
Yes, it is. It is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, and what is your DC for that?
My DC for that is it is 18.
Okay. You're able to, whatever this is, it's successful, Ron. So what do I need to tell you?
Right now, it's just I'm feeling the way it describes it is if it fails a save, I can read its surface thoughts, those foremost in its mind, reflecting its current emotions and what it is actively thinking about
Okay.
when it's within 60 feet of me. This effect lasts for 1 minute. So
Okay.
from there goes to the next part of it. It says, during this time, you can use my action to end the spell. So my next turn, hold on 1 second here. During this time, I can use your action to end this effect and cast suggestion spell on the creature without expending a spell slot.
Or without spending any magic points in our case.
Right, and the target automatically fails its saving throw against the spell.
No shit. That's channel divinity. That's some badass stuff. Now, okay.
So
I'll give you that.
So right now I have to hold this because this is trying to see here. Trying to see if channel divinity is a full act as an action.
Usually it is.
Yeah, because normally it says it. All right, so I'm assuming that's an action, so I would have to wait till my next turn to do that. So till then, I have the psychic link as long as I can hold concentration.
Would you like to know what it's thinking?
Yes, I would.
Okay. This creature is selfish and bloodthirsty. And this creature, in the back of its mind, it is thinking about not only does it want to hunt and kill you and anyone else around it, but it wants to take you back to its people through the portal and throw you down as a trophy. So it will be rewarded by the giants that hold the other end of the chain. So it'll get the best meal and prove its alpha-like presence amongst all the other behemoths that it came from. So this thing is wanting to not only murder you guys, but to take you back to a feast to be eaten amongst its other people and to be thrown down at the feet of their masters to show you guys off as battle trophies. That's the ideal. That's the premise. That's what this creature is wanting to do to you guys. So, roll me a charisma saving throw, Ron.
17 plus 6, 23.
Okay. For a minute, that almost unnerved you. to where you might have even had disadvantage on your next action because the reality of what you're in now is completely real. This isn't a book. This isn't a safe place anymore. This thing wants to destroy you. And that reality almost overwhelmed you. You felt flushed for a moment. But then you found the courage to see this through. You looked at Valdera out there. You remember the words that Vargas said. You know, he has fought hard and is taking a lashing from his type of, from the other avians in the city, so you could be out here and living your life and going through these things. And remembering that gift that he gave you, the gift of freedom from the city, it encourages you to go on without that disadvantage. But you almost had it. So, but that happened, okay? So is there anything else you can do on your turn with the bonus action?
Yes, with the bonus action, I am going to have my Warhammer go in and attack.
Okay, and you can move it 20 foot. So
Yep.
you have any spot in particular you would like to hit it? I'll let you just generalize, just for theatrics. No, I'm not going to let you poke it in the eyeball or nothing, but, you know, just for theatrics.
I would say probably it would go in straight in, so probably that right, that left forearm.
Okay, that'll work, buddy.
It's not going to be necessarily aiming. It's just going straight into hit.
Okay, go ahead and roll for it and tell me what you get.
Alrighty. I rolled a 16.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, the spiritual weapon doesn't say it gets any bonuses to attack.
Well, now I'm sure it would have some degree. You wouldn't just give it the basic D20, would you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what it would be.
Okay, I'll look at it.
Maybe it'd be my spell casting bonus.
I would say so, yeah. I would do your range spellcasting modifier.
So that's an
If that's
8.
wrong, I don't care. It sounds right to me, buddy. Do it.
Yeah, it's 8, so that puts me at 24.
That hits it, but it does not breach it. So you are able to hit the creature. It's not able to block or dodge the hammer, but you weren't able to find a weakness in its outer skin either. So go ahead and roll damage for the hammer, and I'll tell you what happens.
Okay, this is so that's 3. So 8 points of damage.
Okay. As the hammer hits, I would like for you to roll me a 1d6, Ron.
Five.
Okay, plus 2 is 7. Okay, the hammer was not able to get through the thick exterior of the creature and did not find purchase, but it did hit the thing, and you see the outer armor that this thing has created. You see that patch of almost metallic-looking fur that it has generated around itself start to break away to a degree as it turns back into normal flowing hair, and you see the muscle fibers tense and move around in his forearm as if it's regular again. And you did 7 points of non-lethal damage to that area on that front, what would be its left arm facing you. And with that, is that the end of your turn, Ron?
That is the end of my turn.
Okay, you have any movement you need to use?
I'm good where I'm at for right now.
Okay, fantastic. All right, with that, it would be the Behemoth's turn. And it is 10:30, and I know you guys have to get up fairly early. So do you want to continue for a little bit, or do you want to go ahead and hold this off till the next time?
I might be able to go its turn, but that's about it for me.
Yeah.
Unless you want to save it for next time.
Yeah.
What about you, Ron? What are you thinking?
We can finish its turn and then pick up with Tamara next time.
Okay. All right, Alex, you good for that?
Yeah, sounds fine, buddy.
Okay. So on the Behemoth's turn, it looks down at this hammer as it smashes into the side of its arm. You see the fur give way and the metallic sheen seems to leave from its arm temporarily. The creature charges towards Valdera. Oh no, hold on. Let's finish what it was going to do first. Holy hell. Roll me a 1d6 roll. Let me tell you what you're rolling first. 1 and 2 is Valdera. 3 and 4 is the pillar you and Tamara are by. And 5 and 6 is Bastille. Roll me a 1d6.
1.
Valdera it is. It scoops up with its action and throws this huge chunk of stone straight at her in her direction. Okay? I'm going to roll strength check just to see what kind of bonuses it might get to this. That is decent. Okay. This chunk of stone is almost like a 6 or 8 foot wide piece of this column that it is literally holding up in its horns, standing up and wailing towards her. Okay? As it does this, I am very, very lucky. I rolled a natural 2. Okay. So let me figure out what this would be still, because it's tricky, because I can't block it with my weapon. It's too strong. I can dodge it. That's all I can do. So I have a reduced armor class versus this. But with that roll, I am able to narrowly escape as it goes flying past me. Okay? Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to do something here really quick just to add this in. We go to here. Let me do let's do this. Okay. Edit. Copy. Edit. Paste. Okay, now let's move it. Okay, let's rotate it. Okay, just a moment here, guys. Degree. Okay. All right. So, not bad. It's a little off, but you can see where there's a big piece of the pillar that's been thrown. It's back behind me. There you go. Okay. So let's go ahead and add those together. Moving that down to that layer and then getting rid of this one. Done. Okay, cool. So big piece of concrete went flying by me, rolled past me, went over here. I'm going to move Valdera just a few feet out of the way, which will take her movement off her next turn. Okay. So she has minus 10 movement on her next turn. And that's the way we do this. If you dodge out of the way of a spell after you already went, it's subtracted from the movement on your next turn. If you have to get out of a radius spell, you have to run 30 foot, but you already went on your turn. The next turn you have minus 30 movement. So that's kind of how we do spells. Me and Dane decided that a long time ago. It works very well. It makes sense in this game system. Okay. With that, creature picked it up, heaved it, didn't work. That was his action. Bonus action. Okay. It is going to stomp down with its back left foot. And as it does, a tremor begins to erupt. Danny, I need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw with a DC of, oh shit, buddy. I just rolled natural 20.
What's his total?
Stay here in just a minute. It's going to be 31.
Mhm.
Woo!
17, 27. I'll take half damage because I have uncanny dodge.
That's going to take your bonus action, right? Or no, uncanny dodge is a reaction. Okay, good deal. Make sure.
No, actually, hold on. Uncanny dodge is a different one. Let me see here real quick.
I think uncanny dodge is a reaction. You can use your reaction and take
It's
from an attack.
yeah, that's something I can just do as a reaction to take half damage. This is because he's a thief. It's evasion, I believe. Yeah, evasion. So he saves for half or no, where everybody else saves for.
Oh, right,
So
right.
it requires a dex save, where he was.
Okay. So that'll work. So a tremor of force damage comes up around you, and you would take it almost. You see the stones and shit in the Coliseum, Danny, begin to like buckle up, almost like the sidewalks from Grafton, where the roots and shit have grown from them, and it comes into a beeline towards your character. Okay, you're almost too mesmerized that this is actually happening, coming from this large creature. And as it comes underneath of you, the stone underneath of your feet seems to be the focal point, and it explodes in that area. You would take 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
Is that already halved?
No, it'd be 8 after that.
All right. As my reaction, he will cast Hellish Rebuke, which for him is actually Angelic Rebuke, or Celestial Rebuke. So it's Radiant Fire instead of Hellish Fire. It's still fire damage, but it's just pretty. So in his case, instead of pointing his finger, he points his dagger at him. When he does that, when it hits him, he points his dagger, and flames erupt.
What's the range
and it takes a dex save. 60 feet.
Okay, you got it.
All right, so his dex save will be with his spells, plus 8, 15 plus 8 is 19, 20, 23 to save for.
He failed.
Okay, so he takes full damage, which would be 3d10. 4, 14, 17 points of radiant flame.
Okay, and make sure you subtract that from your magic points, because you cast that at full level, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay, so you see that the radiant flames do something to it, but it doesn't affect it as much as you would think it would affect a normal creature. The thick, dense hide of this creature has taken, is holding back on that. Roll me a 1d6 plus 1, Danny.
4.
Okay, it takes 4 points of non-lethal, though, from the blast, and it did take some damage from the strike, although not full damage. Okay, that was its bonus action for the Thunderstomp. It did the other thing on its major action through the thing. Okay, and now movement. The creature is going to move between Valdera and what's going on down below. It's going to charge back over to this direction, okay, which is good, because that means Valdera will get an attack of opportunity against the creature. Okay? So as it is charging down the large creature this way, it gets this far, and Valdera is able to reach it with her great sword. Okay? So this is going to be pretty neat, and then we'll pretty much, this will almost finish the night. Okay, guys? Once it goes by, she has all this stuff built up inside of her, and she's been waiting for the opportunity to use this. And as she looks at it, she kind of says under here, her breath, "That's right. You come to me." And as it's not even paying her any mind and charging towards the other pillar because it wants to get the battlefield open. It's sick of all these pesky freaking mortals hiding from it and shit like that because it can smell creatures around, but they're trying to hide from it. As it's just going by Valdera, not paying her a bit of mind, she takes a large cleaving strike across what would be the far side of it or the right side of it, across its rib cage, down its side of her great sword. She has, her great sword does 2d6 plus 1d6 lightning damage base. Danny has empowered her with a feat that she has, which gives her another 1d6 lightning damage from him putting the shock onto her weapon. So now we're talking 4d6. Okay. Then she used her bonus action to almost put like a divine smite on her weapon, which is called the Blade of Ruin. That adds an extra 2d8 on top of one single strike that she can make. She is completely loaded and cocked and ready to go at this point. Okay? So she's doing 4d6 plus 2d8 plus her bonuses if she can land this attack of opportunity. She has weapon specialization. So on this attack, she's going to add 1d4 to her roll. I can do it one time per turn. I get criticals on 18s, 19s, and 20s. 18s are damage and a half. 19s and 20s are criticals. Okay. I rolled a 16 and a 4. That's 20, which isn't a critical hit because it was only a 16. That's 20, plus my attack bonuses is a breaching strike to the side of the creature. Okay. So as she goes in for this attack, she finds a thin piece of skin that seems to be over top of normally well-muscled ribs, whereas it breathes and you can almost see its rib cage sweeping in and out. She's able to go in between oblique muscles and cut deep into the side of this creature, doing full damage past its defenses because of a breaching strike. Let's roll damage and see how she did. And when she does this, Ron, you've seen some pretty wicked attacks so far. You've seen Danny come down, do this devastating double stab. You saw Tamerden lay into this son of a bitch like a whirlwind underneath of the last one that they fought. You saw Dahan go in and just pummel this thing at this great charging strike. But this one may top them, and I don't know if it scares you or excites you exactly how your character would feel about it. Tamara, you would worry that she's being too reckless when she does this.
Right.
Okay, so I got those. I need to do my 2d8. Oh, it's always a good thing when you can't find enough dice. That's what I say. And I get to re-roll 1s and 2s because I'm a great weapon fighter too. This is fucking fantastic. I love it. Wow. Re-roll 3 of them. That's much better. Sure. Okay. 12, 17, 21, 23, 26, plus, what was our bonus? Come on, talk to me. 47 points of slashing damage. across the side of this creature.
Oh my.
Okay. As she does, the thing roars out in pain as you see a splatter of blood go down on the ground on the other side of this creature. She runs it completely through with the hit. And the reason it was so devastating is because it was rushing past her at the same time she was swinging against it. You can actually hear the knock of the sword make purchase into one of the rib bones as it runs by her on the side, but it still continues its path, not stopped by this. And rams into this pillar with its full force. As it does run into the pillar, roll me another check, Manny. Roll me a 1d20 and a 1d6. Tell me what the pillar's like.
6.
That's it? Okay.
Yep.
Ignatius, it would seem that you have hidden behind the most brittle pillar in the entire place. Oh, shit.
I guess I should have read more architecture books.
Right. Right, buddy. Okay. As it runs into the thing full steam, the good news is it takes damage. The bad news is that pillar is starting to fall. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw, and I will make the DC. Okay. Roll me a dexterity saving throw to be able to get the hell out of the way of this thing, Ignatius. Full or half damage.
I got an 8 for my save.
Okay. All right.
I'm just looking. I've got 5 points into evasion.
Okay.
I don't know if that would work there.
Well, here's the thing. And you make up a very good point.
It's not really an attack.
Right. That's the trick. And that's a tough one, too. Because, to think that you can evade melee combat, you almost have to think of it as if you're training yourself or you are able to miss things that are happening within your realm of possibility. Within your melee range, things that you could react to, a racquetball coming at you, someone swinging a sword at you, things of this nature. And
right.
when you're,
And part of it is, I don't say part of the evasion is anticipating like what your opponent's going to do.
right. Right.
So that's why I didn't think that would work. So no, I just got an 8.
Yeah, this is more like a ranged attack kind of thing. So as the
Right.
falls and you did not roll successfully enough. Ooh, damn, Ron. Okay, let's look at this. You know what? I forgot about this, and I'm going to help you here, buddy.
Okay.
As it was running down in that direction,
Yeah.
and coming towards you halfway there, all of a sudden it got this kind of confused look on its face, like maybe it didn't want to attack you. I have to roll a wisdom saving throw for the creature because you have sanctuary on you, my friend.
Oh, that's great.
Ah! Alex and clutch. Dude, woo! Because Ron, it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Going to be bad. Eiffel Tower was coming down, sir.
My scrawny old man body would not have held up on anything.
I've fallen, and I can't get up. All right, so let's roll this. Danny, just for the hell of it, I'll have you roll the wisdom saving throw. And Ron, hold on, Tamara, what's the DC of this? Roll me a 1d20 plus 10. And I know that's your spell DC thing.
Okay. 19.
Okay, Danny.
I rolled a 13.
It did not pass. As it was storming towards that direction, trying to look at something it could fight at, it stops. Not having a real attack left because it's already used its bonus action, It was just running into this thing, plowing forward, with it being in its way. It stops short and becomes a little bit flustered between you and Tamara as to who it's going to face next. It stops its turn within 10 foot of Tamara, and you can feel the breath of this creature rolling around the side of the column that you were sure it was going to try to run into full blast. You literally swallow your bravery and you're like, oh shit, Ron, things could have been bad. But the sanctuary spell cast upon you seems to have saved the day for now. And with that, we will stop for tonight and we will take up the rest of this fight at some other time. So that was neat. Dude, I was like, oh shit. Ron's going to get, because I mean, I know what the damage of those pillars are falling over because I've already figured that up. It's not pretty. And, you know, your armor can only take so much, and that would have been a different qualification. So the sanctuary spell, super cool that you cast that on him, Alex. That was clutch. Danny got the great twin vipers on its back. It shook you off. You're able to use your other bonus action to land safely. We got some good stuff going on here. And it running by Valdera to make that charge, letting her get that super strong strike in there to the side, that's good shit. And mind you, even if these hits don't break through its damage reduction because of how thick and strong it is, you are wearing a hole in its outside defense. And eventually, at some point, I'll tell you where there's a bare spot on this creature where you wore its hide down enough where you can have a minus to hit, but it doesn't have damage reduction to hit it. So with that, I thought that was decent. And, you know, we're crawling towards it. We took care of a lot of stuff earlier on with Alex, but Alex, someday this week, we'll get together, talk about Tamara, talk about some backstory, maybe just do a practice fight for you.
Okay.
And maybe you and Valdera would do like a sparring session against one another, and just like in backstory, so we can kind of train you and get you used to how she works. Okay.
Yeah, that'd work.
I think that'd work because I mean the two have in storyline they have sparred before in practice, so that would actually be a good example to do that. With that, I'll go ahead and stop the recording, and then we will say our goodbyes off camera. So thanks for showing up, everyone. Good deal.